Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. Today I have a few things to do in the greenhouse because it's kind of cold outside and I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing. But before I do, I want to show you this great card I got from my friend Kevin, former colleague, great co-worker. It's a pop-up card and it's gracing my greenhouse right now. No care required, and when I put the fan on, blows in the breeze. Thank you, Kevin. Very thoughtful. And yesterday I received a package from Gavin over at the YouTube channel, Not Another Bonsai channel. And it's some seeds. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to do it outside of the view of the camera so as not to reveal any addresses or anything like that. Cut into the material. That's no good. All right. Be careful now. According to the customs label, oh no, this is awesome. Italian cypress, which are those really cool pointy trees. I can't wait to grow some of those. And some English hawthorn. Okay, these are berries. I think Gavin told me that I might want to soak these in vinegar overnight, or however long it takes to get the pulp off. And there's a note in here. Hi, Steve. Hope everything is going and growing well. As promised, here are some hawthorn and Italian cypress seeds. The hawthorn may need soaking in vinegar to break down the seed coating. Perfect. Hope these grow well for you. All the best. From Not Another Bonsai channel. Thank you, Gavin. Very cool. And this netting, you know, I have a good use for this. This is going to go in these seed trays to close up that bottom and still make it permeable. Yeah, you're not getting this back. Very good. Very good. All right, moving on. See, I was going to use this for what I'm doing today, and this will work for what I'm doing today. But this is going to be great for these seed trays. Oh yes. I don't think the roots will grow through that. My wife uses an inhaler for her asthma, and they come in these little aluminum tins. And she stacks them up thinking, oh, we could probably use them for something, and I saw them. And I have these Portulacaria afra cuttings that I need to get potted up. And I thought maybe I would do 4 or 5 in one of these little pots just to get them rooted. It doesn't have anything to hold it off the bottom, so if I put a hole in it in the upper corner and do it in 4 corners, it should drain nicely. That's pretty good. All right, that'll work well. And what I will do is put this tape in there. Actually, maybe I'll just put a coarser layer down at the bottom and put some fine growing medium on top to get these started. All right, I got 10 of these to do. So I'll come back when they're all done. And the last one sometimes you got to take the aluminum off the tip. And that's how you know it doesn't drill. There we go. This ought to work very well. I'm going to put a little layer of coarse pumice on the bottom, and I'm going to cover the top with the fines from my bonsai soil. All right, I have them laid out so they'd fit on this tray. I'm going to start with 8, and this pumice is a lot coarser than I'd hoped it would be, and I haven't cleaned it. But I'm going to make the cleaning process and the planting process happen in one step. Some of the pieces are pretty big. They're supposed to be 3/8. You know, I'm going to have to grade this. It's all right for this purpose. And as a mixture in my soil as well. And that's what I got it for. I've got to mix up some soil. Right. I have enough for one small bonsai. I've also got some akadama in my basement that I've never used. It was a gift before I left my job, believe it or not, from a broker that my firm worked with. You know, in lieu of a wine bottle at Christmas. He didn't care. I said, you know what I really like? I sent him a link to a bonsai supplier, and I said, you know, you really want to make me happy? Get me this. And he did. Love the guy. I have 2 more left. I'll do them later on. Let me get the fines. So these are the fines from my regular bonsai soil. There's a little of everything in here. Even some sphagnum moss. I don't know how that got in there. Well, I guess I do. But it's mostly perlite, because that's what there are a lot of small pieces of. So these are going to be cuttings, which I can easily push into this mix. I'm probably blocking everything. I'm good at doing that. Many of these cuttings are not quite ready. I've got to trim the tops off of them, but look how wrinkly they are. Certainly I left them a little bit longer than I wanted to. And I said I was going to plant these dry, but the substrate just kept falling back on itself, so these would be very hard to put in place. So I can make a little hole now that I've wet these sufficiently. Got a bunch of cuttings to put in there. So let me decide what I'm doing. All right, so here's one. Typically, I would take the bottom leaves off. I took some of them off. Just going to continue here. Take a little bit more off. And I'm going to cut the top down to here. That's my first cutting. Just going to put it in. As deep as it'll go, you know, hitting the substrate, the coarse substrate at the bottom. Next one. This one is a little long as well. I'm going to take it down to here because there is hopefully a branch starting right there. Make a little hole. Put it in. I like that some of them are leaning. Once again, my aim with these is to create a little Portulacaria afra forest, mainly because I've seen so many really cute ones, which are amazing. This one's a little long. I'm going to cut it down to, too bad there's branches on the same side, so maybe I will eliminate that one and just keep that one and cut it to there. Did you see that? Now, do I put two in a, yeah, might as well put two in at opposite corners, and then if I can get a third in, or if I want to get a third in later on, I will. Make the hole, drop in the cutting, try and backfill it. A damp substrate will allow you to do this. A dry substrate, certainly one as flimsy as this, will not allow you to do it. Here's another one. I'm going to trim it back to here because I got a set of branches coming out on either side. I hope I didn't leave these too long. I think I'm okay. Make a hole, plant it in. And I'm going to go through the rest like that. And I'll come back to you when it's done. So here are the little Portulacaria afras. There's 13 of them. Potted up. I will not leave them in the greenhouse because I don't want to keep the heat on. I'll bring these inside. I haven't broken the news to my wife yet, but we should be able to find a place for these guys. And one other thing I wanted to show you before I move on to my last little task for the day. When I go anywhere, if there are seeds anywhere, I put them in my pocket. That's what I did. So when we were in Berkeley last, we saw some spent irises, which had seed pods full of seeds. So I dumped them in my hand, put them in my pocket, and look what's growing in my greenhouse. Now I've been keeping the temperature in the high 40s overnight, which I'm not going to be able to do much longer. But in the same pot is lantana and some old sequoia seeds that I had that I really don't think will sprout. But you never know, right? Look at these little guys. These are irises, right? Recognize them? Right, and the last thing I want to do today, I want to do in front of an open door because it requires some noxious chemicals. I've got the fan going in here. This piece of driftwood was in a fish tank of mine for quite some time. It survived that, but it's also now been in my basement for quite some time. It's very dry. This grain is beautiful, and indeed it's quite hard and stiff, but if you look at the soft part of the grain, you can stick your fingernail in that. So I got to get some wood hardener on this because I want to use it in a Tanuki planting. I took the Tanuki challenge that was thrown out there by Andy from Bonsai Crazy, and I don't know what trees I'm going to put in here yet. I have some that might work, but if I could get the roots through here and fish it down back in this way, and maybe get another tree coming through here, I could cheat by removing a section from the end here. That wouldn't affect it in any way. But this is a beautiful piece of driftwood, and it's been in my possession for a very long time. So without further ado, I'm going to apply the wood hardener and see how that works. All right, so I applied 2 coats of Bondo wood hardener. The whole impetus for doing this came from watching Corin on the YouTube channel Greenwood Bonsai. He applied a wood hardener to a rotted part of a living plant, and I thought, well, maybe I can apply a wood hardener to this and it would give it the ability to stay outdoors and provide a nice little framework for maybe a couple of cedar trees or something like that. All right, so that's all I wanted to do today. I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to put it in the garage. It's going to be below freezing tonight, but I don't want this thing outgassing in my greenhouse. I'll let it dry where nobody's breathing any vapors. The garage is detached to the house, from the house. Look at that. Hope it lightens up. A little, at least. All right, thank you very much for keeping me company in my backyard.